Hi, everyone. My name is Nick Juravich. I'm the Associate Director of the Labor Resource Center at UMass Boston, and I'm the coordinating author of a joint report we did with Cornell on building a sustainable future for GE using Lynn and Schenectady as case studies. Thank you to President Kennebrew and all of you for this chance to share our findings. It's a privilege to be here. So we worked on this report for over a year with 16 authors. You've heard from some of them today, including General Adams and Dr. Lazanik. We started by confirming GE's systematic disinvestment in American manufacturing. You've heard the numbers. 4 out of every 5 jobs at GE in the US have disappeared since 1989, and their union density has dropped from 25% to under 10. So why is this happening? This is not your familiar Rust Belt can't compete story, because GE's profits don't come from sales. GE gets its profits from long-term service contracts, and the most lucrative contracts the company signs are taxpayer-funded government contracts. 2 relevant examples: the company is a top 5 defense contractor and supplied 41% of US wind turbines as of a few years ago. In addition to profiting on these contracts, GE receives huge subsidies from every level of government, over $2 billion in the same decades in which it cut 80% of its US workforce. Now, GE is a global company, you might say. It is, and other countries get a lot more for their tax dollars. Take France. When GE planned to buy Alstom, its own evaluations showed GE's Schenectady operations were 4 times more efficient. By the time the deal was done, French officials up to the president had stepped in. Guess which jobs survived? And lest you think I sound conspiratorial, this was all reported in the Wall Street Journal. Simply put, our tax dollars bankroll GE. Our report recommends GE reinvest those profits in the communities that have sustained the company for generations. We also recommend new industrial policies to compel GE to do so, and you've heard some of our elected representatives speak about those today. This is not just a matter of jobs and justice, important as those are. We have endured myriad crises over the past few years. They've shown us just how fragile global supply chains are and how fickle reliance on fossil fuels can be. We've seen defense production held up by supply chain issues and power grids compromised. Folks across the political spectrum have increasingly argued that restoring US manufacturing is a national security issue. I would add that climate change is too. We cannot hope to build the renewable energy sector we need, from parts to assembly to energy production, in piecemeal fashion. And this brings me to GE's split, which was announced the same week we released our report. Now, as you've already heard, this big news amounts to more of the same short-term thinking. Within a week, the Financial Times was reporting that hedge funds were plotting the further dismemberment of the company's GE plans to spin off. With those folks at the helm, it's going to be even harder to generate the long-term investment in US manufacturing that national security and the climate crisis demand, and that GE workers and communities deserve. Now, to be clear, our report is not only critique. We do cite examples of alternative models at GE, partnerships with the Air Force in Oklahoma, and Tennessee Valley Authority requests for domestic production of power equipment. At the moment, these are the exception, not the rule. But our report shows that GE's plants all across the US have the skilled workforces, the infrastructure, and the ideal locations we need to scale up domestic defense and clean energy production. To close, we wrote this report because we believe that when we understand how GE's business works and how our policies shape it, we can begin to chart a new course toward a sustainable future for GE, for workers, and for our communities. Thank you.